Ladies. Thanks for joining us today. I'm here with Christine Warren. She is a life and relationship coach with Soul Sister Connection. How are you today?
Fantastic, Paula. Thank you for having me with you.
Yeah, I'm so excited to dive deeper into this topic. When we spoke last week, you were kind of explaining to me how you came to be a coach and basically how you kind of got into this niche.
Yes. So it all started with coaching when I first hired a life coach. And the situation I was in at the time is I was in the midst of recognizing that my relationship was in my marriage. I'd been married 20 years and it was ending. So I needed support to, I guess, really pull the plug, like make that decision. And it was because I was in such a miserable place. I was in a pit of misery. And I talked to the coach and said, here's where I'm at. I know this is where what I need to do. I need to get a divorce. And of course, having kids and finances, all these things that you have to work out and your head's spinning and your heart's broken. So there's so many pieces. And I said, here's what I want. I want to get to the other side of this with dignity, grace, and class. I want to create the next chapter of my life. I have no idea what that is right now because I'm so, in this. Can you help me? And what happened from there really transformed my life. I shifted and created who I am today. Not that I'm 100% different. Of course, I'm still me, but I really got to shift and it was so powerful. And in that process, I knew that I knew that I knew this was my calling. I'm like, this is where I'm going to be as a life coach. So that's how I got to be in this place.
Okay, yeah, I can relate to that. It's kind of like years ago, I had my own pinup photos done, and I love the experience of so much that I wanted to bring it to other women because I felt like that it was so just fun and empowering, and like I felt like a different person at the end of the photo session. Like I felt like going into it, I was nervous. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not skinny enough, blah, blah, blah. By the end, I'm walking around in a bikini and like in front of everybody, like, this is the greatest thing ever. I'm like, I look gorgeous. So in that sense, like I can relate to the feeling of like, this is it. This is what I want to do. So that's super cool.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I love your story. And yeah, that's exactly it. Like knowing like what I knew, it's like, I totally want to give this gift to others. Like I want to share and serve others in this capacity, and that's what I hear, for you as well. Like, so transformative.
Yeah, it's fun when we find our thing, I guess.
Yeah.
um, so when you have a client, like, I don't know, just say for example, you've got somebody that maybe, and I don't know, you said you're a relationship coach, so I don't know if you're working with somebody that maybe is going through a divorce or something like that, but how do you address those conflicts so that they can heal?
Yes. So sometimes, it might be someone who's, looking at a divorce, or it could be someone who's in a relationship or marriage that's struggling and they really want to build it back up. And so it can be looking at the fact that shifting our view of conflict is how I started. Like seeing conflict as an opportunity, see an opportunity for growth or an opportunity for closeness, that it's happening, like for a reason, and there's an opportunity for us to shift. So that's the huge like piece that like we keep in the back of our mind, that this isn't the worst thing ever. Like there's better coming up. Right. So, and the things that I encourage them to do is like focus on our side of the things. So in other words, obviously we can't control what other people do at all, right? So we have no control over them. So all I can do is say, hey, we're focusing on us, like on, on my side of the conflict. Now, from here, it's like I process my emotions. So number one is processing emotions, because we have to like really feel the feelings, not shove them down, suppress them. We can cope with all these different methods of escaping. Those don't help. That doesn't get us through it. So it's really processing our emotions first, gaining clarity on what happened? What did I really want? And then after that, when we're de-escalated, that's the time then we can like look at addressing the conflict or whatever the thing is that happened. Like, so if we need to have that big conversation with your spouse or whatever it might be, it's after we're de-escalated. In the midst of it, we're like spewing all the things that we don't, that you might want to take back later.
We can't think clearly. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's like really getting clear on how I feel. And if my feelings are hurt, we express that. But it's in the space of I'm not, at a level 10. So timing's everything. And so it's really, and when we take it down deeper, we often find like what our real core need is. And to be able to express that to the other person is huge.
Awesome. So basically, in a nutshell, you're helping us think more rationally and not be as like emotionally involved, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
reactions.
Exactly. It's the reaction side. So we totally have the emotions. Emotions are normal human. We all have them, right? And so we honor them by actually processing through them. And that's a whole big piece in and of itself. But to really process and feel the feelings and stay in it and stay with them, like cry it out, whatever the things are that we need to do. But we don't have to do that. We want to sometimes do that with our partner, but sometimes it's healthy to just process them on our own so that we are not spewing like in the high emotion. That's like basically the piece of it.
Awesome. So have you ever had like a really difficult case? So just something that really took a long time to resolve, or you weren't sure you were going to be able to get this client through to the other side?
Yes, I have. And it's interesting because she hired me initially to support her in her leadership in her career and actually wanting to make more money. So that's where we started. And so, we did that as well. Like she ended up, increasing her salary by 30% and
wow, that's fantastic.
She wanted. Yeah. So like all of those pieces, absolutely. The other piece of her life that we were working on is the relationship side. And that's where probably the easiest way to describe it is she was in a relationship with someone for 6 years. She had told me, I don't ever want to get married. Like, that's not me. That's not the core value that I hold. I love this relationship, love this man, but I don't want to get married. Okay. So they were having ups and downs in the relationship, working through things. And then his job takes him to another country. So now they're at a crossroad. Things have been there, like up and down. And it's like, what do I do? I don't want to marry the guy. I don't know what I still want to be committed. Like she's in this quandary of what do I do next? And so, they looked at ending the relationship. So that was the difficult piece was like ending a relationship, and he's going to be, obviously across the world. So, what ended up happening is through coaching, they ended up staying in touch, communicating a lot more. She ends up making the decision to leave her life in the US and move to Europe. So this was a huge life change, right? Drop everything, your friends, family, and I don't literally mean drop, but you're going to leave physically and move and, leave your job, all the things. Like, so everything she knew she was going to leave behind, right? And go across the world. And after she made that decision, she, told me, she said, I never in a million years thought I would live abroad. And then she said, that was one of my biggest dreams. She didn't tell me that. Like, I didn't know that. Like, so I was like, no way. Like, it was one of those, like sometimes we don't believe for ourselves that this big dream can happen. So we just don't tell anyone. And here it is, her huge dream. Like, so she was so grateful and so happy that she made the decision and got supported to do that. And then about 6 months ago, she reached out and told me, guess what? I'm inviting you to my wedding. I'm like, what? You're getting married? I thought you didn't believe in, or I shouldn't say believe, that was not a core value for you, that you didn't want to get married. She said, I've changed my mind and I do want to. And I'm so grateful to you that you helped me get to that place. So I want you to come.
Oh, wow.
So yeah. So like many ups and downs and circumstances, right and left, all over the place. And, she made her dreams come true in bigger ways. So yeah.
Yeah, like that's huge. So not only did her relationship get better, but she was also able to focus on the other areas of her life. Like they sort of fell into place too. Like she got, a 30% salary increase, like that's a big deal. So relationship coaching, I guess, pays dividends in other facets of your life. Because I feel like if you heal one thing, like, And I always say this to women too when they come in for boudoir sessions, like it's not just a bunch of pretty photos. You're walking away with confidence that's going to bleed into other areas of your life. Because when you feel confident, you're not paying attention to your insecurity. You're out there shining, being a shining star, and grabbing life by the balls, basically. So, and I feel like it's the same thing if you heal that relationship, whether it's with yourself or your partner or your friends, now, you feel better about yourself and you can kind of project that into other areas of your life that need attention.
Absolutely. It's clearing out that energy drain. And then you're feeling so much happier, more fulfilled that of course it spills over to the other areas of your life.
Awesome. So do you have like a specific technique or approach you use to help individuals improve relationships?
Yeah, great question. I would say we start with breaking down their current patterns. Like, what is it that they're doing right now? Like, because all relationships have like a dance, right? Like, so it's like breaking down those relationship patterns, then looking at what are the triggers? What are the triggers that to these conflicts and the triggers that, to the hurts that we have? And so like we walk through different pieces of the trigger and how the trigger starts and what the cycle ends up to be, or what a common conflict is. Maybe it's around money, and it's like walking through the pieces and the dynamics of it. So we're going to break that down and then reviewing like how we process our feelings around it, right? Because everyone's going to have like a different feeling around, he said this and I said this, and this is how it goes every time we talk about money. There's feelings involved. So we like look at, okay, what feelings get triggered? Then from there, it's like looking at, okay, I've got these feelings, I've been triggered. And then I start telling myself stories about it. This must mean that I'm not good enough with money, or this must mean
we've all done it.
Right. Mm-hmm. So it's like we make up a story, or he thinks this about me when I spend money, or I'm not good enough at whatever. And so like it goes down this rabbit hole. The next thing you know, we're not feeling good enough about ourselves. And it's all from the original story we started telling ourselves. So it's to really hone in on those stories that we're telling ourselves, because I think they're so common and normal for us that sadly we don't even notice them anymore. So it's like stopping time and being like, here's the story I'm telling myself. And then we can recognize, is that true, or did I just make that up? Likely I just made that up. It's a made up story in my head. Nobody said it. Nobody said I'm not good enough. I made that up. And so from there, we're totally transforming the patterns by, shining the spotlight on the areas that aren't true and pulling those out and, recreating the story that we actually want it to be, the way we want things to go. So it's a transformational process, and it's almost like rewiring our brain on how we see ourselves, what we believe about ourselves, and then what we also believe about our partner. Like, because we're assuming things about that person in our story, which isn't even true, right? So all of it.
Yeah. And like I said, I think we've all done it. So it's basically, you're also like looking at patterns. It's recognizing patterns that cause the triggers too. So that's pretty awesome. I mean, it's just something I never thought about. So how would you say you measure your success?
Measure success. Well, I guess one example would be like my client who came back and, is so excited that she totally transformed her life completely, in another country, and thanked me for it, and, was so excited about it. So that would be one. But I guess other ways would be really looking at the results that clients are getting. So like for that client, she got a result that it was above and beyond what she had been hoping for. But yes. So we start by looking at their goals. First of all, like I really want to know, get super clear on what exactly do you want? And a lot of times people will be like, oh, I want to make more money. Well, how much money? Is that like $100 more a month? Is that $10,000 more a month? Is that $100,000 a year? Whatever it is, like, right? So it's getting really clear on what you want and, where you are now and closing that gap, and when we close the gap, we do it in milestones. Like we're looking at, breaking it down. There's milestones along the way. And then creating rewards as well. So like our brains function like that as we like plant new seeds and we water them and then reward them. It's like, it wants to do it again, right? Like, so we're creating this new pattern that Like, so instead of trying to like create motivation for something, we're creating this like cycle in ourselves that we're like, yes, I'm a yes for that. That felt so good last time. I want to do that. So we're creating more rewards around it. And really each session with clients, we measure the success because we discuss like, what do you want to walk away with today? What direction are we going? And we really, I think the key thing is getting so clear on what we want. Because a lot of times we're just vague, like, oh, I want to make money in real estate. And it's like, well, do you want to flip houses? Are you going to be a realtor? Are you selling houses? Are you, like which method are you utilizing? You're going to be a landlord, whatever it is. So it's getting so clear on how, when, where, why, all the things. And then that's what hones into be able to shift and create the steps along the way to create those milestones and get those real results. And it's exponentially faster with the accountability and being able to see into those, patterns that we create.
So you have, and I don't know if it was a weekly Zoom call, but I did pop into your group and I was checking it out, and it looked like you have like this happy hour for ladies in your group, Belly Laughs and Breakthroughs, which is really fun, by the way. How did Soul Sister Connection come about?
Yes. So Soul Sister Connection came about because I have so many clients, and actually I shouldn't say just clients, women, I swear, as soon as I put it out to the world, like, and even before that, I suppose, women start talking to me about their relationships with other women specifically. So it could be your mother or your sister, but I'm really focused, on friendship as well. So like it's the dynamic of women connecting. And so many of them are saying, I don't really have that close friend. I'm not somebody's first phone call. That's the, like one thing I've heard. I'm not someone's first phone call. Or I don't have that one person to call when something big happens and that's exciting to celebrate with me, or something really awful, happens. There's a loss or a death or something, like I don't have that first phone call. And just the sadness of, I wish I had that person. I want to be someone's person. And sometimes it's not that they've had friends all along the way in their lives. They've moved, there's all these different reasons. There's, whether it's situation like with their kids, like you're raising kids or you're, busy with this or that, all these different reasons. They're building a career. So many reasons that women will just say go in and out of friendship, and it's normal. It's normal life, right? Like, so we'll just normalize it. Like there's nothing wrong with, any of the, like nothing wrong with anyone. Like there's nothing wrong with the women that are saying, hey, I'm raising my hand. I would like to have these deeper friendships. I have friends that are more of acquaintances or, that kind of thing, but they're not someone I share who I really am with. It's the other soccer mom. I, talk about my kids with the person, but they don't know me. And it's the ability to be able to be known, to be seen, to be heard, and have a real level of trust and friendship that's really, really powerful. And I hear it over and over. And so from how often I hear this request, I mean, I hear it almost every week, like literally still. And I think it's because now I'm in the space of offering conversation around it. It's a huge topic and a huge need. And so from that, I knew that I wanted to create it. And why? Because I'm someone who's always had a best friend since I was a toddler. So I always wanted a sister. I always wanted a sister, and God didn't give me a sister. So I think I just really focused on my friendships in unique ways. And by doing that, from being a toddler to kindergarten, I had a new best friend. I had a best friend in second grade. So they're not necessarily always the same person. I've actually created a mass of many women in my life that I'm very close to and connected to. And so it's a beautiful thing that I have learned so much about and created. And I've had a friend that my friend from kindergarten, she was one day said, we went, hardly ever see her because we don't live near each other. We went for a walk one day and she said, you are such a different kind of friend. Like, I don't even believe it. Like anytime you're in town, you reach out to me. She's like, I don't even call you or text you. And the next thing you know, you reach out and say, hey, I'm here. I would love to see you. She's like, you're the person that shows up in my life. Like you'll show up for me. You want to hear about what's going on for me. And it doesn't matter. There's no, keeping track of scores. So like who's talked to who first or whatever, none of that. So I think there's like so many pieces to it that I absolutely love friendships so much. And that soul connection that I have with so many women that I decided to create it. Like, I just hear the need.
Awesome. Yeah, I always feel like my friends are my family, and that is the way we get a chance to like choose our family, basically. Um, so I kind of resonate with that. I think that's really sweet that you always wanted a sister, and so you just created this beautiful sisterhood.
Yes. Yes.
So what advice do you have for ladies that are seeking a deeper connection or deeper friendships?
Well, definitely the happy hour that I do once a week, and it generally is once a week. I've committed to like 3 times a month, but that is basically once a week. So yes, and I've been changing the times to see if different times work for different women. And so that's one piece of it. So that's in Belly Laughs and Breakthroughs on Facebook. And the other big exciting news that I have not even like announced yet, but Soul Sister Boot Camp is coming out, and I'm so excited. It is a 12-week program, and it will include like modules and training and group coaching. So that's like the powerful piece where everyone can bring it, like their conversations of, here, this is what's going on in this friendship, and the things that they want to, have really looked at a deeper scope. And so there'll be group coaching, there'll be one-on-one coaching pieces in it. And so I'm super excited about it. And so that is launching next. So yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited for you. That's super. So where would somebody find you if they wanted to get in touch with you, and they want to work with you, maybe more on one-on-one? Maybe they're not ready for the boot camp, or they just have questions on it.
Absolutely. So they can go to Facebook in Belly Laughs and Breakthroughs and send me a message through there. They can send me an email, and my email is Christine, so starting with a C. So Christine at ChristineWarren.com. I have a unique spelled last name. It's WORYN. So it's Christine at ChristineWarren.com. So this is my email address as well. So those are ways to get in touch with me.
Awesome. So I'll make sure that we will link to all of that in the comments and in the description, so that people can just click on it, instead of having to worry about trying to spell it right. But
Right, it's a mess.
I thank you so much for joining us today. I'm looking forward to hopefully showing up to one of your happy hours at least and making some connections there. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week.
Thank you so much, Paula. It's been an honor to talk with you. I love connecting with you. Like, I feel your energy, and just all of it is so much fun. I love it. Thank you so much.